Live here.
Live!
But we don't have to necessarily know what that means.
What's the someday of blank?
I don't
There's
know
a
that we
reason
want
this
to-
story happens now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the movie writes itself. Ooh. Well,
I'm still streaming. How do I stop streaming? No!
hello.
Hello. You know, watching that, I can realize as I'm wearing the same hoodie as I wear in that opening. And so I'm like, oh, is this going to become like embarrassing how few clothes people are going to see that I actually own or wear on a regular basis?
I've got us a weird boxy thing today. Hold on.
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Anyway, so I think I just need to be a little bit aware of that.
Doing something a little different today. We are actually streaming to YouTube and Twitter.
And Twitter.
To Twitter.
Your Twitter specifically.
My Twitter specifically. So if you want to watch on Twitter when we do it on Twitter, which we didn't even know we were going to do it on Twitter.
No, I know. It was just a button. Let's try that one. What does this button do? Oh, Twitter.
At Ben_Lustig.
Yes. And maybe sometimes we'll do it to mine. We'll just kind of play around.
Yeah, I think so. We've got to figure out how to do that for sure. I'm even going to, you know what? I'm trying to get fancy here, but look at this. This is my ad banner. Oh boy, here we go. Oh, there it is.
Nice.
Hey,
that's well
there
good.
We go. If you want to follow on Twitter, that's me. And you know what? I'm going to create another banner just because this is super fun. At Jake.
Yeah, make sure you spell my name right. Unlike so many people get it wrong. Some people get it wrong.
Oh, here we go.
There you go. That's my Twitter handle.
That's Twitter. That's Twitter for Jakey Jake.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
So, welcome to Wednesday, September 28th, 2:02 p.m.
Episode 12. We're on episode 12. Yes.
I know. I literally, when it asked me for the title, I was like, I have no idea what today is. So I literally wrote, what's next?
What's next? I mean,
let's give ourselves a little bit of a recap. Jake,
totally.
I want a 1 minute recap.
So, hello, for those of you who haven't joined us before, and even for those who have, here's the recap. 12 days ago, we began writing a screenplay from scratch on YouTube and on Facebook Live, and now to Twitter Live, whereby we are fully opening up our process to the world, how two Hollywood screenwriters come up with a movie, how we brainstorm ideas, and the development process for us in our own mini writer's room. The idea that we developed over that first week essentially has boiled down to essentially a road trip / chase movie whereby a demon and the Antichrist have to get to a certain place, potentially by a certain time, and things get in the way to stop them. We began to go deeper into some kind of macro 30,000-foot view structural beats. We then began to go a little bit deeper into our characters and their backstory and the kind of dynamic we wanted to create. And then yesterday, we threw a big wrench into the machine.
It's actually my job.
Totally. Well, I feel like we both do that. We go, hang on a minute. And that, whereby we went, is the concept, we had this whole thing whereby one of the idea was we were going to realize at a certain point that, we were working for the villain. And Ben went away and watched Constantine, in which that is literally what happens in that movie. We suddenly realized that in that particular case, it was the angel Gabriel, isn't it? She, literally, it was the name we were throwing around.
Literally,
we suddenly realized has ill intent. We've got a little note here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so we went, okay, let's move away from that idea. So, and then eventually the conversation led to, well, should we add another person into this dynamic? And essentially what we've come up with now is that a demon hunter and a demon have to accompany a person who will be the vessel of pure evil and the Antichrist.
See, if I was going to pitch this really simple.
Go. Yeah.
Ultimately, we talked about log lines before, right? Yeah. I literally would just go, a demon hunter and a demon must team up to save the Antichrist.
Great. And you're instantly like, yeah, what's that? I watched, and that's it. And I think really that's the purpose of a good logline or the quote unquote elevator pitch.
Right.
It's just to go, can I whet your appetite to make you go, yeah, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's great. I think that's great because it's kind of ironic. You get a kind of
It
ironic.
is. Well, that's the thing about it. It's like you don't need that. Sometimes log lines require, a couple of sentences. In fact, we've had some before that are pretty long. It's the idea itself is so ironic.
Yes.
That you go, wait a minute.
Wait, what?
We're saving the Antichrist?
Yeah, wait. Tell me more. Let me read that script. Sure. I'll put it on my weekend read
all
list.
a log line needs to do, right? It just needs to go, oh, I want to read that. I want to know what that is. Tell me more. Yes.
Indeed.
In fact, we sold, going all the way back one day, we had a general meeting with a lovely producer named Andrew Lazar, who we are currently working with. And we went in, we had a general meeting. And for any of you who don't know about the way that Hollywood potentially works once you start to break in as a screenwriter, general meetings are where your representation essentially does exactly what it says. They send you to a producer or an executive or a director or anyone, and it's just to talk in general about you, and what you're working on. And it's kind of a meet and greet, So we had a general meeting with Andrew, and he was like, what are you working on right now? And we were like, well, we had this idea, about a fantasy heist movie where it's like Ocean's 11 meets the 40 Thieves. And he was like, I want that.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want that. And he was like, have you told anyone else? We're like, no. He's like, good.
Yeah,
don't,
totally. Yeah,
I want that.
Yeah, completely.
And
come back.
And we ended up selling it.
Absolutely.
Actually, not to him. We went out, we put a pitch together, we sold it to Sony.
Yeah. That's right.
So those kinds of it's what's called a high concept idea.
Yeah.
People sometimes use that phrase in different ways, but truthfully, like a high concept idea is something that you understand instantly. It requires
and I would add that is a big bold idea into it too.
But not always. I mean, like it doesn't have to be a big movie. It can be
it doesn't have to be a big movie, but but the idea behind it is bold and innovative. And you go, oh,
I mean, look, cool. A date movie like When Harry Met Sally, you go, okay, I understand what that is, but that's not high concept. It has to be something.
Yes. My Dinner with Andre is easy to explain, but it's not a high concept movie.
Yeah, it's like it has to be something kind of. There's a uniqueness to it as well, but not always. I mean, I will say, like sometimes, Snakes on a Plane was probably considered a high concept pitch. I mean, truthfully,
it probably was.
And it's like,
I've not seen that.
It's like, okay, so there's these people on a plane, and then there's a lot of fucking snakes.
And today I am Jake's on a plane. Is that why you said that?
Actually, it wasn't.
There you go. There you go.
Subconscious. It was
subconsciously. It was like you can see it in your vision.
Totally.
So, anyway,
back to work.
Back to life. Back to reality.
The ideas that we've been working on, that we shifted to yesterday, was basically making this a 3 protagonist movie, and this adventure that they go on. And we hadn't locked in where that goes, where the ticking clock may start, what the climax truly looks like, although we do have a version structured out whereby we did have an idea of a climax, but that now changes because our bad guys changed.
Yes.
And that's kind of a big deal.
Totally. And again, like we're at this stage in our process where we're still really doing, and what you'll notice about all of these podcasts is they're a lot of talking. And again, whether you're working in a partnership or if you're working on your own, you are just playing with these ideas, and you absolutely come to moments where you go, you know what, that doesn't work. That's not working. That doesn't feel right. And that might feel different for you. It might just feel like a little niggling thing you can't quite put your finger on. That might feel like a discontentment with the project or the idea. But in those moments, I think you really have to listen to that little voice, because it's telling you something. And I think it's really important. I cannot stress that enough. Like,
sometimes it's telling you the wrong thing, but it is telling you something.
Totally. Now, I have that little voice in the form of Ben, who's actually taller and bigger and stronger than me. So my little voice is that man just there, and I'm his.
Your little voice. So I think that it's important to talk through again where we were at with the villains.
Yes.
Also, I just want to say, someone commented yesterday. I noticed on our video. Thank you, by the way, for commenting. We
like the comments.
So please do. We were asking about movies with 3 protagonists, and we did forget one, and they called it out, which is Terminator 2.
Great example.
Terminator 2 is a great example. Yes. So thank you. That is a movie that needs to go on our watch list now, because
because we watched, and we have been talking about it quite a lot. It's interesting because I feel like the first version of this movie was far more Terminator, and this now does become. And again, what's interesting is that John is our Sam character.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Now, of course, Sarah and Arnold, they are nothing like our other characters.
But
the reality
dynamic there.
But there's a dynamic there where they don't. She doesn't like him.
Yeah.
He's just trying to do what he does. Yeah. There's a fun bantering between the two of them, even though he doesn't talk much.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because in one sense, you could say our demon hunter character, who I'm going to call Hank for the moment, Hank becomes our Sarah Connor. Charlize becomes our non-human Terminator in this particular case.
Yeah.
And then Sam becomes John Connor. And
it's Terminator 2.
Yeah.
With a demon hunter and a demon saving the Antichrist.
Cool. Great. See you at the rap party.
See you at the rap party. Terminator 2 meets Midnight Run.
Sure.
Right. And it's funny because we've been saying
Terminator 2 meets, not Terminator. No,
correct.
Terminator 2 meets
Correct. And it has changed in that way. And that is really interesting. And funny enough, we were talking the other day about how Terminator 2 is actually a more complex movie than Terminator 1.
Absolutely right.
And that it actually does some things with character and with plot that Terminator 1 doesn't do. And I genuinely love that about that movie. But here's the thing about that movie.
What, Ben?
Terminator 2 has a singular villain. A very clear, defined bad guy. Now, there are other obstacles, very, very big obstacles sometimes. The police are very big obstacles. Getting Dyson's stuff is an obstacle.
Yeah, Dyson becomes an obstacle.
But the T-1000, that's our guy. That's our villain of that movie.
And what you love so much, and you just remember. I mean, again, it's like become part of culture, you know. Have you seen this boy? It was interesting. I read a really interesting thread the other day, and it was all about how talking about James Cameron, how James Cameron's Avatar, while successful, was not culturally impactful. Is that the right word? Sure, I'll go with that. Impactful. For example, there's very few moments you can quote or reference, you know, from that movie, and everyone know what you're talking about. But even if you haven't seen Titanic, you know that if I'm doing this at the front of a ship, that's from Titanic. My kids haven't seen Titanic, and they know what that is. It was just interesting to see. But like, again, I think of the great villain in that movie that you just remember from a moment like, have you seen this boy? You go, I know that, you know.
You know what's funny about Avatar, not to segue, but it actually just re-released and it's doing fucking gangbusters.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I've talked to a few people who've seen it that were like, it's better than the original.
Well, haven't they like done like the 4K thing with it or something? Or
they did a 4K laser upgrade, and they've even gone to like a 9.1 sound mix.
Awesome! Oh, that's fabulous.
It's supposed to be spectacular.
Yeah, I want to take.
And it's cleaning up at the box office. So while I mean, you're talking about a movie that's what
12 years old.
12 years old. It gets re-released and it beats the other movies that come out, and even like other movies that have been getting a lot of press lately and stuff. And you go, well, it may not have had like a cultural impact,
but it's still a great movie, and
it's
successful
getting people to come back out.
Yes.
So that's the thing. It's not like, while it's not quotable, it had enough resonance with us that we want to see it again. I mean, I saw that movie 3 times in the theater.
I saw it twice. Yes.
You know? Oh, saying. I did that again. But anyway, back to what I was saying.
The point being, interesting, cool villain. A villain we've not seen before. You know, we had never, again, what was so amazing. It was like, holy fuck. I've never seen a robot made out of liquid metal who's trying to assassinate me. I mean, fucking great. And it can look like anyone. It was excellent. It's like The Thing in that sense. You know?
So I've been having some thoughts about this.
What are your thoughts, Benjamin? Share them.
Well, because Terminator 2 popped into my head, I was like, okay, singular villain, memorable, unique, something we knew because we knew Terminators, but we never saw a Terminator like that before. So rather than saying the demons are after us, that is a badass, cool demon, like, that we've never seen before. That is coming after them. And it's not just a like, let's say there are lots of kinds of demons.
Sure.
Let's say Charlize is, you know, a demon that is like her. Like,
it's like you have different orders of angels. You've got cherubim and seraphim, blah, 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 blah.
You know, orcs versus Urukai, or like, you know, you've got different kinds of things. Like, what if we have like, and maybe it's not just one, maybe there's 3. But rather than a horde of demons trying to chase them down, who is the memorable, scary, intense fucking demon?
Yeah, totally. And again, can we use public domain IP? Is it Winnie the Pooh?
They're doing the Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
I sent you the trailer, didn't I?
Yes.
Hey, it's Winnie the Pooh, it's Eeyore, and it's Tigger, but they're demons in disguise.
I love it.
But like, and you threw out this comp, I think, the other week. I can't remember what it was in reference to, but is it like Zod and his guys?
Yes, it could. It could absolutely be that.
Yeah.
Or it could be just one singular demon.
Yes.
It depends on what we want to do. It depends on how big of a, you know. Again, this is kind of diving into deep lore, and we did this the other day, but it's just going to continue to happen because when you world build, which is really what Jake and I do, we take ideas and we kind of construct an entire
world and lore around it. You have to make sure the rules will work.
You have to kind of figure out, like, okay, what are the rules of this world? Yeah, exactly. So, you know, if there aren't many demons that can cross over, if that's a select few, a specific kind.
Yeah.
In Constantine, they were half-breeds. Obviously, that's not what we're doing. Sure. But, and remember, as I was talking about Constantine, there was the one demon dude who felt like the bad guy.
Do you do something? I'm having a vision, and the vision is this.
Yeah.
Do you do something in Act 1 whereby you see, like, the rules for bringing a demon to Earth are in place? Do you go to some shadowy cabal cult and they're doing a sacrifice, or they are there's someone's being possessed, you know, and we actually see, oh, here is how a demon of that magnitude could be on the mortal plane, either through a sacrificial thing or through a possession, both of which play with, I think, concepts that we're already aware of.
Possibly. Yeah. I'll put that on the table as possibly, but I'll ask 2 questions.
Question the first.
Is this the way that Charlize came around?
No, because I don't think Charlize is this kind of demon.
That's confusing.
Okay.
So that would be my first thing of going.
She's a half-breed.
Yeah, we're creating different rules.
She's a half-breed.
That's good. I'm going to start questioning. Well, wait a minute. There's this demon and that demon. And then the other thing is, I will say that the way Constantine
starts is with that. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Totally.
guy who basically gets possessed.
Yes, I think it's a young girl, isn't it, or something like that, isn't it?
No, it's a guy down in Mexico.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, there's the girl that's possessed when we meet Constantine, but I think even before that, you unearth the Spear of Destiny. It's one or the other. It's either you start with Constantine and then you cut to him, or you start with him and cut to Constantine. I can't remember, but it's like one of the first two sequences. You're with this guy down in Mexico, and he unearths the Spear of Destiny. It possesses him. He walks onto the street, and the car just smashes, and he walks away. Right. Sure.
So anyway, so maybe not possession, but again, it's that question that you're asking is, who is this? I mean, I like the idea of there being either one or three of these demonic entities who I'm totally fine with them looking like people.
Yeah,
good, just like Charlize does.
Right.
And while they might have another form that we can see at some point, be cool and freaky.
I love the Zod cons. I mean, I really do.
Yeah.
And I love actually the multi-gender nature of Zod and his crew.
Totally. Absolutely.
But I would say that Zod, very specifically, is like, even though like the other two are great,
he doesn't talking. He does, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she says like a couple words and the other guy grunts.
He grunts real good.
I love that movie though, man. Superman 2 is still probably one of the best superhero movies ever made. I gotta be honest.
It's so great.
So who's the guy? So I'm kind of, as we talk about Zod and the others, you go, okay, like, I mean, I'm gonna steal a little bit here. Like, is this like a general from hell? Was she part of their unit?
Yes.
Like, were they part of the we come to Earth to fuck shit up crew?
Right.
And our demon used to work with them. She used to be part of their unit. And when she's gone rogue and they discover that she's going after the Antichrist, who do they send? The best unit there was.
Yeah.
These guys.
Yeah. That's kind of cool. I like the idea. And we talked about it the other week, that they have history. They got history together, And then when it's like you're working with Hank.
The Demon Hunter should have been one of their biggest nemesis when they were all a unit. So there used to be 4 of them. Now there's only 3 because she's now working with Demon Hunter over here.
Great. I think that's great. I really like that. It's super fun. That's so much fun. And then they're all tied. They all have this history together.
And I've got specificity now.
Yes.
I know who my villain is, and yet they're complicated, right?
Yes, sure.
And I know who my heroes are, and they're complicated. And then we can still throw in the other aspects of what we were talking about. I mean, one of the things we discussed was, is there a billionaire who hires an elite merc squad? Is there a government agency like in Hellboy or in Incredible?
Or are there just a bunch of redneck demon hunters?
I know, the redneck demon hunters. I don't think demon hunters should be that common. I think that's the thing that I butt up against about demon hunters being another thing.
Sure.
It's like, it makes Hank less special.
Sure, I hear that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And I think since our Sam, Haley Steinfeld, is the non-special, I'm okay with Hank and Charlize both being special.
That's fine. I think the other aspect that we were talking about, and I think I already have the answer, is what is going to get in the way of this. And again, I think it's as simple as saying it's the police.
Yeah.
You've got the police and a group of fucking demons, and they're the people trying to stop us.
Great.
Yeah.
Totally.
Great.
I mean, these guys go and kidnap a girl.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
And they'll probably get into a huge fight and destroy a bunch of public property.
Sure. And if
maybe even the FBI, we'd have to create. I will say one thing I hate in movies is when the police are again non-personified force that doesn't have at least one person that we are connecting to. There's one thing that Terminator did really well in the first one is you go, okay.
Yeah, you connect to that.
These are these 2 cops.
Yeah.
In Terminator 2, like the cops showed up. I don't know who any of those cops were.
Yeah, you didn't, did you?
They didn't do a good when we were at the Dyson facility, it was a shame because I didn't care what happened to any of those cops. And but there was enough else going on that it was okay.
There is. And again, what you like about it from that perspective is you go, it's sort the Terminator learns the value of human life. John's like, you can't kill people, and he doesn't.
Right.
He just blows up a bunch of cars, and I love that thing. And kill count 0.0. You're like, good.
It was great. It was great.
Right, I'm gonna go and watch Terminator 2. That's gonna be my homework.
Do it. I have it on 4K Ultra HD.
You watch it like you're actually there. You can experience it with your eyes.
I saw it when it was really re-released in the theater, and it was
years ago.
Fucking great.
Yeah, totally.
But
okay.
So I guess the question becomes: so we've got Zod and his
minions. You've
got the cops.
Sam, Charlize, and
we might only need those two.
I think that's right.
Only need those two, especially because this movie shouldn't be more than 90 to 100
Yeah,
minutes.
Totally. I think that's something that we're really wanting at the moment from a lot of our scripts is, can we get them to manageable levels?
Yeah.
I think when we first started out, it was, the rewrite we did of Winter's Night, try saying that 6 times fast after a few tequilas, was 126 pages. I think even the draft that we sold to Sony was 118. I wouldn't want to sell a script that, and again, like people go that long, but I think if you can get a script, particularly of this nature, to sub 100 or around that 100 mark, I think it's really golden at the moment. I really do.
Look, there are some movies that are big, epic movies. Honestly, these more expensive movies tend to be longer as well. Partly, I think,
those generally aren't.
When you're paying to go to the movie theater, people want a 2-hour experience, or at least that's what studios think, because you're paying a shit ton of money to go.
Yeah.
When you're sitting at home, 90-minute experience is perfect.
Right. Absolutely.
And I do think there's a difference with that. This movie, well, look, I hope it becomes a theatrical release.
That would be lovely.
But let's be honest, it's an original. And so it probably goes to a streamer. And if it's going to go to a streamer, we're going to get a modest budget. And that modest budget is going to hopefully be for a 90-minute movie, so we can spend a lot of it on great CGI instead of on the extra 20 minutes. So because of that, and this is actually an interesting thing to talk about for people, because of that, when we think about structure and villain plots and protagonists, we also have to think about how much time does it take to service these things? How much time in the story, and I'm not talking pages yet, we'll talk pages later, but how much time in the story, how many scenes do you need to really get the relationships between these people? How many big action moments do you need to keep that concept moving forward? And if you're going to have multiple villains, you're going to have scenes where you're dealing with multiple villains.
And sometimes when we're outlining, when we get towards the end of that process, we might start to break it down by how long is this sequence going to be, you will start to get a rough estimate of a page count. I think we've struggled more from this in TV than we have in film. But we absolutely have had moments whereby in certain TV parts, I think of Final Fantasy, for example, and we got to
way more in our outline than we
absolutely way more in our outline. And as we were working it through, we're like, shit, this whole, I think it was like 20 pages of stuff.
Yeah,
like a third of the pilot was going to have to go. We ended that pilot a lot sooner than we ended up in that.
We just went through an old script and cut almost 20 pages off of it because it was a 120-page script. And part of that was taking out set pieces and scenes that just really weren't necessary to hit what we needed. But interestingly, so we've created a story now whereby we have 3 protagonists. So we have to service all 3 of those, understand who they are, understand the relationships, understand the dynamics between them, and understand what they want. And so that all takes time. Then now we've got I love this new villain plot. Fantastic. Our Zod crew. And then we've got the cops. I think that's probably all we can fit into this movie.
I think so.
We're going to need, you can't do a movie that you're calling an action movie without
some action.
sequences. And those sequences take up a lot of space in the movie. I mean, especially if you're watching great action movies, you're going to get a sequence that's 10 minutes long, right? And that's great. It's what you want,
And let's be clear. When we have a action sequence in one of our movies, we write that out.
Yes.
We want we never want there to be, and then there's a car chase. It ends with blur. Like, we go through all of the moments in that. We want the person reading this script at whatever level they are, whether it be assistant to someone, whatever that is, all the way to director and producer, to have the experience of watching the movie on the page. I think when we had that whole there's this epic fight scene in The Princess, it was 6 or 8 pages long, wasn't it? It was no dialogue, just action.
It was just action. There's an interesting debate that goes on among writers, which is, what is the purpose of a screenplay? And some people will say that the purpose of a screenplay is a roadmap, for example. It's a way to get the director and the actors and the crew and everyone else from point A to point B in the making of the movie process, all meant to be interpreted, and it's just essentially this kind of document for that purpose. I don't think that's the case. I think that a screenplay should be read as if you're watching a movie. And we talk about this quite a bit, which is, who are you writing this for? And while, at a certain point, a shooting script needs to have a lot of roadmap potential elements, because you are now dividing up the work between department heads. We're all going to bring everything to them. And so, it acts and it serves that purpose.
Yes, but that's what they are bringing from it, taking from it.
Right. So they're going, this scene is an exterior. I got to figure out the lighting. In this scene, she wears these clothes. I got to figure out the clothes. And so from that perspective, yes, it's a roadmap. But if you just say, and they fight, because you think this is a roadmap, and now a stunt choreographer is going to come along and they're just going to choreograph the fight anyways, which happens. People write that. I don't think that's the best version, because to me, when you're writing a script to sell, you want the person reading it to be imagining the whole thing.
Yeah, completely.
And here's the truth. The truth is, most people don't have great imagination. I know.
Well,
people will not like that comment.
Yes.
But that is the truth.
Yeah.
I'm going to state it. People reading your screenplay will not have the level of imagination that you do as a writer.
Yes.
And so you need to create that for them in their mind. You need to create that sequence so that they're not relying on a stunt coordinator. Yeah. They're reading your words, and then they're going, oh, that could be amazing in their mind.
Totally.
And then the stunt coordinator comes along and goes, cool, all right, there's a fight here. And they change everything.
I mean, ultimately, using The Princess as an example, we had a great stunt team led by Clayton Barber, was the fight choreographer and second AD on The Princess. And he was like, you gave us a really great place to start from. We couldn't do it exactly the way you wrote it, but there are a bunch of moments in that fight that were in our first draft.
Oh yeah.
Since
the very, very, very beginning.
Very, very beginning.
Writers will, again, disagree on this, and that's perfectly fine. For us, for Ben and Jake, we like our action sequences written out and detailed so that people can really understand what they're watching, what they're going to get.
The point being, that will be part of this.
And we'll get there, and we'll be writing those, and it'll be fun.
So let's have a little conversation then, I think, about, again, I think we do need to discuss the Demon Hunter Hank character.
Yes, we need to go into him. That is definitely a
I think that's one thing, and I think we need to go into who our antagonist really is.
Yes,
really is as well, and the lore behind him. I think it's a him. I think it's a him. Yes, that's fine. Okay, so this demon and his other
John Burns.
Great. Love that. John Bernthal as the demon, as one of the demons, one of 4 demons, one of which is good.
Right.
Is one of Satan's chosen lieutenants. Their job on Earth has been for tempus immemoria, aka forever.
Right.
The purpose of sowing discord, disharmony on Earth, with the intention of creating a person, a being who, like the Kwisatz Haderach, is actually going to be a being of evil.
Yeah, and I think we can use all that great lore work we did the other day, and now just boiling it down to this is one of the teams that does that together when they come up.
Now, John Bernthal and Charlize at some point worked together. We talked a little bit the other week about why Charlize left.
Right.
You know, John Bernthal taken that personally. They were best friends. Maybe they were even lovers at some point.
Maybe, but I think even more personally, it's the fact that she started to go somewhat started to develop this moral compass.
Totally.
That
he's completely devoid of.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so she became the enemy. And as much as he may have liked her, once she started to go against demon kind in even just her way of thinking, he doesn't have that same moral compass. She needs to be killed.
Completely. Yeah.
Her ideas go against our rules. She needs to be killed. Maybe he even tried to kill her. In fact, that'd be fucking awesome. If that would be awesome. Last time they saw each other, he was the one that tried to kill her.
Totally.
And now he's got a scar down his face.
Totally. He's got one milky eye.
With one milky eye.
Yeah, right. Or a glass eye. Who was talking about? It was Derek. We were speaking to earlier. Who got a glass eye? Dave. Oh no, it was Dave. Oh, Dave on another script. Yeah.
Speaking of which, hey, anyone want to leave a comment and tell us what you think about us having guests on this podcast? We were thinking about having maybe a guest once a week or once every other week and doing a session with that and just kind of talking about, since we're doing a podcast about our process, we're talking to other people about their process and not necessarily just screenwriters. Because I think it's fascinating storytelling wise how people do it. I don't know. When I think about my friends who write without partnerships, we talked about this the other day. I have no idea how they do it. So anyway,
would you like to be a guest on this podcast? But again, I think it would be specifically process related. I think that's the purpose of our show.
We don't need to do another interview show. There's plenty of those out there.
Plenty of those, and they're all very good.
They are. We love all of them, and we're happy to be guests on them.
Totally.
Actually, we were just
on a podcast. We'll come and be on it.
If you've never watched the WGA, listen to the WGA podcast, Third in Fairfax. The last episode was us. So go on your favorite podcast app, and listen to the WGA Third in Fairfax.
We were on
Third in Fairfax podcast.
There you go. Absolutely. We've got another one coming out on another platform soon as well. The one we did.
I don't know what platform she puts.
We'll find out. Out. Sure.
So anyway, we've got a quick comment here. Jack, yes to guests, yes to process. Awesome. I think you're right, Jack. I think we're going to start reaching out to some writer friends of ours in all different forms of writing. We have quite a few at this point, and I think it'd be great. I think it'd be great to talk process with people. So we're going to do it. Jack, you just pushed us over the edge.
Thanks, Jack. Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, got that done. Good. Okay, then. So then, can we open up our Scratch and just put all this shit down in our Scratch pad so that we don't instantly forget it?
Yes, let's do that. I don't even know what to put down because I feel like we've just been doing a ton of talking.
So while you're doing that, I'll just make the regular announcements. If you're enjoying this podcast, please make sure you subscribe. It will let you know, obviously, when we have things going on. You'll get a little alert on your phone when we are going live, and of course when new episodes come out. Don't forget to like as well. We want to get to a place where we can go. It's youtube.com/Lustig and Thornton, and we have to reach certain parameters. So by doing that, that would be great. You can tweet about us, please do as well. Our handles are at Jake Thornton on Twitter and at Ben_Lustig on Twitter. We also have a Facebook page too, and we have different content and different stuff on each of those pages. So we might announce something on Facebook that we don't announce here, or something on Twitter. So do make sure you're following us in all of those wonderful places as well. Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't actually think we put down this new dynamic.
We didn't
yet.
We didn't.
See, this is what happens, guys. And if we don't write it down, we'll totally forget it next time.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna write, new take. And the thing is, we never delete old stuff because you never know what nuggets are going to be in there later where we go, oh, yeah, what was that thing? And then we can go back and find it.
Completely. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about, so now I'm just going to write, Midnight Run meets T2, whereby a demon and demon hunter must team up to save the Antichrist.
It's great. I really like the way you pitched that. It's just so cool.
So for the viewer, I can't remember who it was that asked for a log line. There you go. But again, it came out of it very organically. And what's interesting, and we had this moment the other week where our manager was asking about the script that we're coming up, and we fumbled through the description of it, and now we can just go, it's Midnight Run meets Terminator 2 with a demon hunter and a demon who have to save the Antichrist, and you go, okay, cool. Seriously, it's awesome. All right, so what do we want to? So basically, we're now saying that Hank, we'll call him Hank, and he's someone like I'm gonna say Hugh Jackman, but whatever. We can we can think something else. Lives off the grid. He's a former demon hunter, and we're going to get much more into his character, but we'll just say former demon hunter for right now. Demon hunter.
He's been out of the business. He doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Last job went south.
Do it anymore.
The only company he finds is in the bottom of a bottle.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to make him a drunk or not. The thing is, our Sam character is going to be the fuck up. So
it's
he
basically about
he doesn't need a fuck.
This movie's about three drunks.
Well, I genuinely don't think Hank is a fuck up. I think he lives off the grid for other purposes, perhaps.
Yeah. Okay.
Here's the other thing, and we've talked about. Fuck. I mean, I liked Sam living off the grid. I liked her hiding because she didn't want to be found by Zod. We can't have them
drunks live off the grid.
Three drunks who live off the grid. That's a different log line. But seriously, I know.
And it wasn't Sam. It was the Charlize character.
That's what I mean. Charlize.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know which is
better.
I know.
I mean, I'm in two minds about it. I mean, is it, he doesn't do that anymore and he fucking works at Walmart? I don't know. I mean,
that's kind of fun, actually.
You go.
That's actually really fun. He's a manager at a superstore, at Costco. He's a Costco manager.
He used to be a demon hunter.
That's actually super fun. I mean, it's a little goofy, but I think this movie can have some humor. And I don't think you do it in a goofy way. You do it in a real way. His life is, boring.
Totally. Yeah,
he used to be really exciting.
Yeah.
Now he's boring. Now works as, a manager of a superstore. Okay. Now I'm going to keep our previous idea, of Charlize living off the grid. So above for Charlize. And the idea is, and this is just for the take purposes, is that Charlize is going to realize that the Antichrist is here.
Yeah.
And the demons are coming.
Yeah.
So she goes and finds Hank, her former nemesis, basically.
Yeah.
Because she wants to
Because she knows that the demons are going to be coming after her as well. And who's good at fighting demons? Hank.
Why would she know that the demons are coming after her as well at this moment? Unless she was interfering, then they would be coming after her, right?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's the question: how does she find out the Antichrist is here, and why does she want to help?
Well, good question. Both of them. First, I think we've covered the question number 2. The question number 2 being that she left demonhood 100 years ago because she wanted something more. Mm-hmm. She thought she could get it. She thought that somehow maybe she could earn her way into being a human. Now, we've taken the angels out, but that doesn't mean that she can't have a relationship with a deity that she talks to but doesn't talk back. Right. Okay? She then gave up, lived off the grid because she thought all she did was bring pain and suffering. But when she sees this demon in her small Dexter-style town, maybe that's the clue that the Antichrist is here. Maybe there are rules whereby demons don't usually just show themselves. I'm thinking about the way that ghosts started to become more prominent the closer Gozer came to coming, right? In Ghostbusters.
The signs began, like, what were the portents?
Right, like is the fact that she sees like one of those other types of demons, like a low-level demon fucking with a person at a in the supermarket in her small town, her going, what the hell? And she maybe instead of killing the demon at first, she grabs the demon. Why the fuck are you here? And he goes, the time
it's almost time.
The Antichrist is coming. And she's like, fuck. And then she kills the guy.
Yeah.
And so now she knows. The demons know that the time is here. Whatever. We don't need to know why they know.
Yeah.
But they haven't found her yet. But they know she's here. Right. She's been born.
Yes.
You know?
Okay. Yes.
So
yes, more than just been born, she is of age.
Well, she should be on the verge, right? We should know, what we should learn is that our Sam character is one choice away from becoming dark forever. But somehow, it's like she's that close. If it's not one choice, it becomes it. By the end of the movie, it's one choice. Whatever it is, it's like if she were to make the wrong decision now, that's when she becomes the Antichrist. And thus, the demons want her to do that. I mean, their whole purpose is for her. They've been trying for millennia to push humans into this direction. This girl is the vessel. If she were to, let's say, murder someone, the ultimate sin, if they could just get this girl to kill someone, it's all over, people.
And it's all over. I just want to be clear on the lore of that. Just kind of pull it up.
I'm just coming up with it.
I know you are. I know you are. Yeah, absolutely. Of course. Absolutely. No, I know. And it just comes to like a couple of different ideas.
Yeah.
Is she the Antichrist, or is she the vessel for something else?
I think she is potentially the Antichrist. I think the Antichrist should be human in the same way that Jesus was human.
Right.
Right?
But of course, the concept of Jesus was that, he was part of God. It was one part of God, Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
Right. But he also was just a man, right? To a certain degree. I mean, I don't know. I'm not uber religious, and I'm sure there's different variations on Christianity that would say different things. What we're saying actually is that this isn't technically the Antichrist in that way. Anyway, this is the bringer of darkness. This is the human that tips the scales to humanity going in the direction of demons ruling the earth. Whatever religion or faith you go on, this is the coming of the next flood, whatever it might, you know what I mean? It's like it's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I've got two voices in my head. One's an angel, one's a demon. One is how could this basically nobody from Portland become that? But
Right.
then my counter question is, well, Jesus was just a carpenter.
Yeah. Because she has been, because here's the thing, what we would believe, I mean, and this is the mystical nature of the lore, right? Is that she was born with the potential to be the Antichrist.
Mm-hmm.
And that means more than just being a normal human. It means ultimately becoming semi-magical, but not yet.
Yeah.
Right. So if demons have been looking for these people that are born with this potential for millennia. They've never managed to push one over the edge to the point of becoming the being of ultimate darkness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the human that is magical, but for evil, right? If Sam's life has put her in all the right positions to be potentially that person, partly because she was born with the potential. That's the mystical side, right? It's not just anyone, it's her. But she still has free will, and that's the point of the story.
Yes, sure.
She could and does at the end of this movie choose to not become that person.
Right. And you really want to have a moment where at the end she's there. She's got a gun.
Yes.
She has to make a decision. And maybe that decision is difficult.
Yes.
Maybe it's saving Hank's life or not. But she's got to kill this fucking other person. And
if she takes a life, it's over.
It's over. But if she doesn't, Hank gonna die.
Which may be the sacrifice he's willing to make.
As long as we can kill Hugh Jackman in this movie, I'm happy. I love Hugh Jackman. Let me just be clear.
I love Hugh Jackman.
I saw him at the Hollywood Bowl and he was fabulous. But
So the demons know that a new potential Antichrist
is about to be revealed.
And have become brazen with their coming to Earth. Okay, so Charlize recruits Hank after a big ass fight.
Yes, I love what we were talking about yesterday. I'm not here to kill you. I'm here because I need your help.
They kidnap Sam.
Yeah.
And discover that if she takes a human life, she will become Antichrist.
Yeah. Great.
And then that's new take. Big bad though. Big bad is
John Byrne
now Zod.
Yes.
Zod and
now Zod and his gang.
Native demons.
Great.
Cops are secondary obstacles in our way. And I think that, ladies and gentlemen, is the new take for all intents and purposes.
I think so too. I think that's really fun. Now and we were having a conversation yesterday about going, I still don't know if it's got to do this by Sunday or got to do this by a certain point, or if it's just keeping her from not doing that. What the structure of the movie is. I'm still in two minds about whether or not it's about getting to the Holy Land or not. I'm not sure we need it.
I don't know about the Holy Land, but I will say I'm starting to hone in on what I think it should be, in my personal opinion.
Go.
I think that at first, it's about keeping her from doing the thing that they want her to do. And I think there's an interesting dynamic here because they could kill her. If they kill her, she can't.
Who's they?
Our good guys. Hank and Charlize could, in theory, kill Sam. And if they killed Sam, the demons would have to wait for the next one.
Totally.
And I think that's a really fun conflict to be had.
I do too.
I think what ultimately happens is the first half of the movie, they need to keep her They need to find her. They need to kidnap her. They need to decide, are they going to kill her or what are they going to do with her? They choose to keep her alive, and then the demons find them. Big, huge midpoint set piece, only to then end up with the demons kidnapping and getting Sam. And now having to convince Sam to do the thing that they need her to do. Meanwhile, our other two heroes, Hank and Charlize, are having to track them down, and the ticking clock becomes, will Sam do the thing that they're doing? And I think that we could have real fun with how the demons are going to convince her. We could do some really cool shit with hallucination and like hell-style prison and all kinds of shit. Making Sam ultimately have to make this choice. And I think what you were saying is great. I'd love to see her potentially kill Hugh Jackman, but you know it could be really fun. Sorry, I'm like talking a mile a minute today. What could be really fun is what if we think she's going to kill Hugh Jackman, and then it turns out to be a hallucination, and it's not really him.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe, yeah, potentially.
And she makes the good choice, not the bad choice. I don't know. Maybe, or she kills Hugh Jackman. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway. So my idea, basically, where I'm going with this is, I think the stakes and the mission at first is to keep her alive and from making the choice that will turn her into the Antichrist. I think that the ticking clock becomes the demons have her prisoner, and what demons do are make people do bad things. And eventually, they're going to get through to her. It's like putting someone in interrogation. She will crack. If we don't get there before she cracks, humanity is lost.
Yep. Okay, cool. I think that's really. I'm down with that. I'm down with that path.
First part is about finding Sam and deciding what to do with her.
Yep.
While keeping the demons away from her.
Yes. Great.
Then she's captured, and we need to get her back before
she does a bad thing.
And
before she takes the action that's going
one thing that will turn her to pure evil.
Great. Interesting. Cool.
It's a good structure.
I think it's a good I think it's a fun movie. Great. Well, we're coming towards the end of an hour now, so I think maybe this might be a good place to stop. I feel like
it's kind of a short episode, but honestly, I think we needed to just work through the ideas that we went through yesterday and hone them in. And I think that's really what we've done is we've taken the big shift and we've laser focused it into the ideas that we already had. I think tomorrow we should probably remind ourselves to go a little deeper with Hank. I want to know who he is as a person and what his change is going to be and what he wants.
He's got a dead daughter, and so Sam, but no
dead daughters.
Ben jokes. We had a development years ago on a TV series. I won't say what it was. And we jokingly call some of the bad notes we call dead daughter notes. Because we had this whole outline going in one direction, and it was like, how can we make this more personal? I was like, why don't we give him a dead daughter? Like half joking, the exec went, yes. And we did a whole outline with this dead daughter. Anyway, but like where I'm going with it is what's in this world? What does Sam represent to him? Why does he want to save her? Oh, she's just a girl. She could have been, or I have an estranged relationship with a daughter, whatever it is. But is there a
way to figure out obviously what there needs to be something different between Hank and Charlize's relationship to Sam. And also what Hank's relation, because Hank may not change in relation to Sam. He may change in relation to Charlize.
Or he might change in relationship just to himself.
Correct. Yeah. So we'll figure all that out tomorrow.
I kind of quite like the idea that at the end of this movie, if Hank does survive, Hank and Charlize leave into the sunset together, and they're going to be a team in the sequel.
I like it.
Franchise. Did somebody say franchise?
Never bad. Never bad to have a franchise. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Ben Lustig, Jake Thornton. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.